for having me back. I love to be here and kind of every time really look forward to see everybody and to do this session with you today. We're going to talk about energy. We're going to talk about ki, which is really one of the things that we all love to talk about and just get more kind of daily dose of pose in there, the things that you can do for yourself, either sitting down or standing to feel a little bit more energy or to calm down, or either use it for anxiety or just really use it, to get a little bit more energy and to really feel that flow of energy through your body. So with that, we're talking mobility because Tai Chi or Qigong practice or energy practice, slow movements is a great way to get mobile, right? To keep moving. And that's one of the most important things that I always talk about. That's my pet peeve. Keep moving forward, and keep moving up. That's one of my famous quotes. Then I would like to add to that today that we always talk about flexibility. We need to be a little bit more flexible at all times. We can always add a little bit more to it because you might feel that you cannot really look easily behind you. One of those things is really important to be able to twist. It's one of our basic movement patterns. It's important to be able to bend over and pick something up, to hinge, or either to lunge and step forward sideways. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And really keep that flexibility in our body. Welcome, even with welcoming all the pain that comes with growing wiser, right? I don't like to say we're older, we're just wiser. Mature adults, as I like to call us. So that's a really important thing, that we keep flexible and we have little easy things to refer to do that. So I like to bring that to you. We do a little bit of that energy slash on the other side, calming movement that will make us feel invigorated and at the same time really focused and in the moment. And I always talk about posture.
Elian, you know what? Your
Yeah.
sound, for some reason, your sound is breaking up a little bit. It's like a little robotic. Like, I don't know if it's the mic. I don't know if anybody else hears it. It's a little bit choppy.
Can you hear me well now? I just turned it up a little bit.
It's the same. Yeah, it's like very, I want to say robotic. Like it's very, I don't know how to explain it. I don't,
Yeah,
it was fine in the beginning.
A little bit.
What's that, Ash?
I said it almost sounds like it's echoing a little bit.
Yeah, like it's echoing. I don't know if there's two things on, maybe a earphone. I don't know.
What about this?
That's good.
Much better.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit better.
But much better.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'll pick it up where I left off, and I'll just go over these things really quickly again if you missed it, because we're still in the first few minutes. So we'll definitely talk about posture and balance today, which is really important. And I added on mobility and flexibility, which just gets more important when we are growing wiser and becoming more mature adults. So that's a joke. No, not really. We are more mature and we are wiser. Saida, I love your name also. And I wanted to say, Jimbo, you're getting a lot of phone calls. You're very popular. So good to meet you and good to have everybody here. I am glad to be here. I'm going to show you a very small little, what do you call it, PowerPoint presentation that you will receive, because I always like to write a few PowerPoints, a few things down that we're talking about today and hand it to you. But it's also important that we're going to move a little bit through this. So that's definitely what I want to do. So the first thing that I want to talk about today is just doing the slideshow, Qigong for everybody. The most important thing here that I like to point out is that it is for everybody. People always think, well, maybe not for me. Everything is for you. Because when it comes to flexibility and mobility, well, no, not everything. We're not going back into the gym to do a boot camp. But when it comes to energy work or just gentle stretching, I call that just, for instance, yoga stretches that are not really yoga, but that are good for you every day. That kind of thing is for everybody. Tai Chi and Qigong work is for everybody, because we can do it sitting and we can do it standing up, and it will definitely improve your flexibility, mobility, and working posture and balance, right? One of my big pet peeves there. And if you're talking about these things, mobility, definitely for daily duties, right? We definitely have these basic movement patterns that we're going through every day, so that we need that flexibility and that mobility. Flexibility for health, it's more important. When we were young, we were not so busy with it, but now we understand that this is one of the most important things to keep flexible. We have to have that energy once in a while, because I'm one of those that this week I was lacking that big time. I didn't sleep so much and I really needed some more energy. So being in the moment and being focused and creating that awareness always helps me, just even if it's early in the morning, with my attitude of gratitude. Then I just give a couple of tips about posture. Posture is key for me. Posture is key for everyone, because it's so important, just also for pain prevention, right? We'll talk about that. And we have to balance all the time. That is not a fun thing. Balance the life and balance our bodies and standing on one foot. So we're working on that a little bit today, because that is important to remember. 7 basic movement patterns that we can find that we are performing every day. And these 7, we talked about it a lot before, are just pulling, pushing, right? You want to pull something, you push something away, a little squat. So bending the knees is very important, especially when we want to pick up things. We do not want to do that with a straight back forwards. But if we hinge over forward, sometimes we do need to, because we're writing things down or we're leaning into something. Then, of course, we have a lunge or a step forward or a step backward, just walking, even, making those steps, being able to balance. And then rotation is very important. Keeping a steady walk is very important. So we're talking about those basic movement patterns, and everything that I do when it comes to exercises, I like to attach that to those basic movement patterns. So in a simple but very effective way, right? Something that is functional, something that we use every day. While performing these movements, you will be able to stimulate all muscle groups. You always do while you're doing all these basic movements. And in exercise, a lot of the exercise routines are based on those movements. Qigong is very good for mobility, and your body is resilience. This is so funny. When I found out, your heart beats once a second, every second, for your whole lifetime. So your lungs snatch oxygen, I found this, out of thin air for 15,000, 15,000 breaths a day. That is so amazing. If you are doing one of the basic awareness practices, one of the basic focus practices, even in meditation, I use this a lot. You have to kind of squeeze your hands a little bit, right? And if you do that, then you really feel your body being present. So we do a lot of tapping, and I'll go into that in a little bit. Qigong relaxes me. When I'm anxious, it calms my heart, because, like I said, I come back in the moment. When I'm fearful, or when I'm very anxious about the next day and I don't really know what's coming up, it gives me a little courage, because I can look back in the moment to what I have accomplished already, and it always helps me feel a little bit better about the things that are coming up. And I have used it as a system for the whole body exercise, right? So it's internal, but it's also external. It makes you feel and create awareness for your surroundings. So that's very important. Then flexibility. It is wonderful to be a little bit flexible. And Qigong can definitely help with that. So you do not need to separate that from your other exercise routine, because we are going a little bit today in that flexibility exercise routine. There's more key. Definitely, this is kind of a double, right? Because energy means key, key means energy. But just, I always like to see chi, key, energy for me and for you. It is definitely creating a little bit of zzz, and that feeling when you are even coming into your body and really feel that energy. That is such an amazing thing. And oh yeah, let's do that. Let's do that today. That energy ball. I always love to do that. People love to do that with me, and you can do that with the whole family. It's a good practice for everybody to feel that and to create that awareness for key. So whatever stress and trauma and tension you are carrying, it's all about relaxing these tensions so that you can stay in the moment and energy can flow through your body, various parts of your body, all the way to the bottom of your feet, and really feeling that. So internally and out. You are very aware of your breathing techniques. So we always pay a lot of attention to that. We always start with that. And we can feel that circulation of energy, blood flow, oxygen through our body. And we call that life energy. Then posture is really important. Good posture means your chin parallel to the floor. How many times do I joke about that and say, well, it hopefully keeps a little bit of those. I already got a lot of chins, but I want to just kind of stretch them out a little bit and not going too much in my chins there. So keep your chin up, roll your shoulders back. So roll them up and back to really feel that you can achieve that when you're standing up straight. A neutral spine is really very important for flexing and arching your back, right? And just having that possibility of moving the spine sideways and straight up all the way to the sky, and then really feeling that lengthening feeling, because what we do is we compress in the spine a lot because of sitting, bad posture. So it's important that you keep your arms next to your side while you're even and straight, and you're feeling your abdominals a little bit braced. That does not mean that you have to really pull them in, and it's very hard to breathe when you do that, but you just kind of want to feel a little bit of another belt notch, right? Just kind of like tighten the belt a little bit. Imagine that you have a belt on and you gotta tighten it a little bit. So you have to have your hips even, and that is not always a guarantee for everybody. A lot of us, a lot of people are not even in their back, in their spinal skeleton build. So we don't always have even hips either. But of course, that's just also causing problems overall in our posture. We have to have the knees straight and straight over our toes, so that you're also, it's important to evenly distribute your weight, right? So we're going to work on that a little bit here. And the last one that is really important is just balance. I also talk in life coaching about how to achieve balance in life and in what areas you have to feel balanced in life, because if you're not balanced, then you definitely feel that physically, right? I always talk about the physical symptoms of the anxiety that and what it just does to your body and where you're keeping it. But if you have good balance, you of course prevent falling, you have better recovery from fall or from just little accidents, right? Or even from the hospital recovery if you have injuries and if you have been in recovery. And then it improves proprioception. The proprioception means that you are aware of the ability to feel the space around you and you know where you are in space. And that's very important. So for instance, if I take my hand back, I need to kind of know where it is. And the other hand needs to find both hands in the back, right? And so I have to be aware and feel where my arm is or where my leg is. It's very important, for instance, if you're going to step back, which is not a very easy and not a very safe thing to do when we are getting older. So when we're getting more mature, right? So that is the thing that I'm going to do with you today, right? I'm going to have a little bit of a hold on or a thing for you here in this handout that you can refer to when you're at home, the exercises that we did. And then I want to thank you. You can find me on my website, elianhaan.com. And I just released a little book, so it's also in your handout. So please, we'll talk about that at the end. If you have nothing to do, read or get it for Christmas for somebody else. So let's start today with the major things that we're going to do, just some exercises together. I love to do that with you. And if you're sitting, do it with me, because we're going to start with all the exercises that are really appropriate for when you're sitting down and doing upper body things. And I'll stand up. And if you are able to stand up and do it with me. If you're sitting down, stay in the chair and do it with me. just a lot of upper body movements. And when we're going to stand up, it's really for balance and for movement. So if you're able to do that, I would always suggest to hold on to something, even if you're standing up and you're doing the movements with me. So we're going to stand or we're going to sit, but I just want you to hold your hands just in front of your belly, and we're just going to breathe. We're just going to do a lot of breathing here. Just kind of nicely in and out through your nose. Just today, we're just going to start through our nose, very easy breathing into your hands, to your belly. Bring it all the way down to your belly and all the way slowly out. So if you're ready, just start breathing a little bit with me. I have my hands just in front of my belly. So not even on my skin, but just in front of it, as if I want to pretend that when I inhale, I push them out and I deflate when I exhale, right? I don't have to do anything for it. Just a couple of deep breaths in through your nose and slowly out through your nose or through your mouth. It's anything that you're comfortable with. Just really being still for a moment. Just creating some awareness for the space you're in, being comfortable. Trying to sit up straight and lengthen your spine a little bit, as if you're being pulled up all the way to the sky by a little pulley. Pulled up by God all the way tall, standing or sitting tall. Just breathing into your belly. Exhaling very slowly. Just letting all the stress and anxiety, just your worries, let it go for a little bit. Let's not think about the things that are to come, but let's think about how we can be very grateful to be in the moment, kind of like a meditative moment here. Breathing into your hands and slowly exhale. If you remember the technique for Tai Chi breathing through your mouth, you can also do that. And sometimes that makes us a little lightheaded, so I didn't want to go too far into that today. If you do that rather, it's very good. That feels good for you. Just in through your mouth and out through your mouth. Or in through your nose and out through your mouth or nose. However you're comfortable today, I just want you to breathe. Then slowly kind of roll your shoulders back, relax them, right? And hold your hands together, just as if you're holding a little ball. So we're just holding a little crystal ball in front of our heart, in front of our chest. I always love to do this with you. Just kind of focusing on it. You can look at it or just close your eyes and feel, and kind of feeling energy building up between the palms of your hands. It's always an amazing feeling when you do that. And kids love to do, everybody loves to do it. You just really start to create some awareness for energy, for the chi that you're holding between your hands. If you do that, you don't have to do anything for it. You're just breathing calmly. But if you do this exercise, soft hands, right? Soft fingers, but between the palms of my hands, I start feeling a little bit of a tingling feeling. Just feeling. You don't have to do anything for it, just feeling. I always love to do this. And when you're starting to feel a little bit tinglish, a little bit of almost energy, right? That feeling of power in between your hands. You're holding energy because it becomes really difficult to close your hands together. If you start to bring them together, you start feeling some resistance there. So there is some power there. And if you just bring them away from each other, if you open your hands a little bit further away from each other, you feel almost that you're holding on to a bar or a big ball of energy. It's a really famous thing to do in the beginning practice of Tai Chi or Qigong into energy practice. If you're holding that energy and you're feeling that energy field, magnetic field, right, between your hands. It's hard to bring them together and it's hard to open them. And just slowly let go and start shaking your hands really well. So we're starting to shake here. And if you didn't feel it today, that is just fine because you feel it when you practice this afternoon, or you feel it when you practice with the kids. So or the grandkids, just do it whenever you can, kind of holding that energy ball, right? I'm going to bring my hands together, really rub them. So I want to keep that chi in between my hands. And then with a cupping hand this time, I'm just going to tap a little bit on my arms. Just kind of keep that energy flow there in my arms. Just kind of tapping down and up. I'm going to do the other side with a little cup hand this time. Just kind of tapping here. 2 times on, all the way back up. And I'm going to tap with my fists a little bit on my chest, right? Generating a powerful feeling of I am strong, I am here, I have self-esteem, I am the best, right? Oh, that feels so good. Just loosening up. And then with my fingertips, I'm going to go with my fingertips, bring it to my head. So I'm going to tap a little bit here and play the piano on my forehead and just tap with very loose hands on my forehead. A little bit on the temple, all the way down my face, all the way to my chin. We use this in face yoga a lot. We're just waking up and bringing energy all the way to your head. And then we're going to do the 10 dragons. I love the 10 dragons. You're just going to massage your skull. Good hair day, right? You're going to massage your skull with your 10 dragons, as we call that. And you can also run your fingers from front to back, all the way through your hair. And if you do that, if you feel those 10 dragons, I really feel that, whoop, I really feel that tingling feeling all the way over my head to the back. So I'm really feeling that energy flow. Doing my hair here real quick. Where's hair and makeup when you need them, right? So did you feel that wonderful feeling of your hands there? Good, 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 good. Then we're going to relax and work on taking a deep breath in again. And just let it flow out. One more deep breath in. And let it flow out. And then, like I said, we're going to work a little bit on mobility. We got the chi flowing now. We got breathing, right? And I do it a little bit in a faster tempo as I would do at home when I'm by myself. So roll your shoulders because I want to just share a lot of things with you. That you can do this a lot slower when you're at home. Then you're just going to drop your head side to side. Now, here it's really important when you drop your head side to side that you keep your forehead, your nose, and your chin in the mirror in front of you, in the imaginary mirror. You really want to lengthen the sternocleidomastoid muscle right here in your neck. We're going to go all the way through our body, just side to side. I see you. Thank you for doing this with me. I love to see you on camera. I know that you're doing this with me. And I'm going to make half circles forwards and forwards and forwards, not backwards, because I don't want to really mess with the nervous system in my neck, in the back of my neck. So half circles forwards, create that mobility. And then I'm going to roll my shoulders again, just really feeling them falling into the back of my pants behind me. Really up and down right there. Good, 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 good. And then I'm going to gather some chi right here and just bring that chi all the way back to the center of my body. Just to kind of feeling a sense of grounding right there. Good. Then I place my hands onto my hips right here. And I'm going to rotate my hips a little bit to create, there's still flexibility, mobility. We're still talking about that. I'm going to create some nice movements in my hips. So I want to roll and round, right? Roll and round. If you're standing or if you're holding on to a chair, please always be sure if you feel safe to hold on to a chair to have that sense of support, right? And then I'm going to close my knees a little bit closer together so my feet are almost touching. Not really, but I just have them straight underneath my hips. And I'm also going to roll a little bit here and make circles with my knees. I do it about 5-6 times to one side and about 5-6 times to the other side. All right, so this is one of the things that you cannot do when you're sitting. These two exercises, the rest you can all do when you're sitting on your chair. And then we're going to just move into this nice posture, right? So if we're sitting again, if you're sitting onto the chair, for posture correction, you always come at the end of the chair, because then we can really come to sit onto those two sit bones. And we want to sit onto our sit bones, have our knees pointing straight forwards and always above the feet. And so I'm kind of having two 90-degree angles here. I'm always trying to sit up straight onto my office feet, right? No sit bones there instead of slouching, because we do that a lot on the couch, right? Slouch on the couch. So I'm gonna sit up straight and just feel my back being really nice and tall all the way up. Have a 90-degree angle. It's really difficult. So we might have to work on that for a while. We want to have that 90-degree angle here and then a 90-degree angle straight going down towards your feet. So that is a really safe posture. Rolling my shoulders back into place where they belong, right? Kind of like in the pockets of my pants. And I'm lengthening and sitting tall. My heart is open to the sky. So in posture, I always like to share with you that if my heart is open to the sky, right, I'm not really tilting that, but I'm opening my heart all the way to where it belongs, right? Keep looking up. That's where it all is. I always say, right? Keep looking up. So you open, but the shoulders are relaxed, but we open into a tall posture and we get the chin parallel with the floor. And when you feel that relaxing of the shoulders, that is so important, right? So when we're sitting or when we're standing, we really constantly want to try to improve our posture because it's very important. It helps you with your back strength. It helps you with your core strength when you do so, and definitely with your legs and your upper legs. So we're going to go into that next. We're going to make a little bit of movement and flexibility and mobility, and we're going to work a little bit on balance. So we talked about posture here. Now I want to just take our arms into a little movement. You can do this when you're sitting down, slowly coming down. Let's do it a couple of times with me. We can do this always as a separate exercise. Remember what it's called. Gather the chi and sink the chi. Always starting with that. Such importance. So we did all the chi. We did the awareness of the chi. We started with that. We did some tapping to wake our body up. And you can do tapping on all parts of your body. We did some slow breathing. So now combine that breathing with your movements. So it's all about movement and meditation together, right? So now we're bringing breath. Exhale. You're looking fantastic. Inhale. Exhale, bring breath and movement together. Now I want you to keep going with that. I want you to bring your right hand up and separate your body in two halves. So here comes my hand straight down, just lining up and balancing or yin and yang a little bit. So this hand is the sliding straight through the center line of my body. What this means is that we're going to balance both energy fields in our body, the yin and the yang. And now we're also really focused on the movements because we want to make it a smooth movement. Scoop up energy. Bring this to one side of your body. And now we just want to do exactly the same slow movements. And one thing that is really important in Qigong is that you have to bring the movement constantly together into a flow of rhythm and motion and movement and breath and never stop. Exhale. One more time, both sides. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Good. And now I want you to bring your arms out really wide and push the walls away and almost a little bit back. So now here we're going into awareness of the spine, right? So I'm pushing my hands a little back. And now I'm going to just bring my elbows back into the front. I'll open my hands and arms really wide back and bring my elbows back in. Now I'm going to make it a little bit more of a wing and a wing stance. So I'm going to have a big stretch right here. And I'm going to open my heart a little bit. So I'm trying to stretch out my upper back and body. Right? Just opening to the sky. And now I'm just, even when you can sit down, I'll do it in a minute for you. You can all the way go down towards your knees. All the way back up. Big inhale. All the way back down. Exhale. All the way back up. Just moving into that upper body stretch and mobility and rotation. So all the way back. I'm going to add a rotation to it. And all the way back in. And now I'm going to go all the way back out and stretch all the way to the right and left. Now here we try to keep following with my gaze. Right? I follow with my gaze. I want to go all the way around. And come all the way back and all the way around. And come all the way back. Yes, one more time. Oh, I can feel that. And I'm going to repeat all this with you. On the chair. Yes. Slowly relax. And relax your shoulders for a little bit. So if you're with me and if you're doing all this, I can really feel all that movement and all that energy through my body. I can really feel the movement of my spine. And you can do it, of course, in your own tempo. So if you would sit down here on the edge of the chair, then it would look like this. I'm just going to open up. And if you're standing, do it with open up. Right, my feet are straight under 90 degrees, all the way back. Now I'm going to try to hit my elbows all the way to my knees, all the way back up. Open your heart to the sky. Take a good stretch here, all the way back in. One more time. All the way. Oh, that feels good. Big stretch, right? We need to do this every day. All the way back in. And then now in your twist, you're just going to grab, if you want to, the chair, and your leg can also be used, try to keep your shoulders down, to move and look behind you. So while we're standing and you're really going into that twist, you can also just use the chair that you're sitting on. But here comes the most important thing. We'll try to keep sitting up straight. All right, so a little bit of a belly engaged, and we want to come sit straight into that nice posture and then go around. So what I do a lot with my clients and students is that I say, imagine that you have a cup of coffee on your head and you need to keep that cup of coffee all coffee on your head. All right, so that's really important to do those rotating motions and these rotating and extensions of the spine and the twist. The rotation is so important every day for you to do because they have everything to do with proprioception again, being able to step out or look where we're going to step to, and also just keeping the spine very healthy. And keeping the spine healthy is so important for us. So including me, because I've had spinal issues all my life. So that's why I am kind of like a walking testimonial of having a huge scoliosis and being able to do everything with my back, right? Because I kind of have to keep moving and I have to keep moving. So it's so important that we just, try to do that as much as we can, even if we have to. No, I always say as well, if it hurts bad, don't do it. You are the master of knowing what you feel. I cannot feel what you're feeling. And it's a joke I always say, and I don't have any feelings. But that's a joke. But I cannot feel what you're feeling. So you be very careful with the rotation and with your spine. But if it feels good, do more of it. So if it hurts bad, don't do it. If it feels so good, don't do more of it, right? If you feel, yes, I got a little bit of that muscle pain, but I can do it. I feel the rotation. Because in my experience of 40 years in front of classes, working with people in movements, I can honestly tell you that you can always do more than you think you can. And that comes from that internal kind of mental fear of, oh, but what if we hurt ourselves? Well, you're not, because that thought actually prevents us from doing things that we can really do. And that thought prevents us from doing those things, which will lead to more overall stiffness or overall injury than we actually need or should have, right? Does that make sense? So we can go a little bit deeper into that when we do our pain management session. But it's really important, and I saw it always, if I just didn't ask people, but I just told them, whoop, go, right? Then they would just do the exercise and start thinking about it, which would prevent them from being scared first, mentally saying, well, I probably can't do it, and then being too focused on doing it wrong or not doing it at all. So that is really just one of those fun things that you can see in life. Now, a little bit of balance and movement that I want to close with. So when you're standing, you can hold on to your little wall or to your what's it called? A chair. Thank you. And I'm gonna move into my little what I call white picket fence. I want to bend my knees a little bit here. Now my knees again are just over my toes, right? And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna step away a little bit on one leg. I'm gonna try to balance. I'm gonna step a little bit further open. So this is the Tai Chi movement. Also, one of the basic steps in Tai Chi, come back into your horse stance right here, a little bit deep in the knee, but feel that with your back, you're sliding against the wall. So we're not really leaning forwards or hinging, but we're sliding just a little bit in the knees, right? I'm going to kind of keep my back as straight up as possible there. Yes. So I'm going to open, step away, right? And then I'm going to come back to that leg. And I'm going to lift that leg back up. Try to stand and step back into it. Right? And then I'm going to try the other leg. So stepping up. Open, exhale into it with a straight back. And then checking the knees. Are they over my toes? Because what we do a lot is, look, they kind of want to collapse, right? So I want to keep them over my toes. And then just lift myself up, right? Remember your higher power. Lift. And come back in. Good. So stepping away in Tai Chi, we call this open the door and close the door. If you're without balance or without holding on to something, you do it a little bit with the flow of the arms, right? And step in and step other side away, right? And the slower you do it, the better it is for your balance, the harder it is. If you're really good at it, then you bring a little bit of the Karate Kid in there, right? You just bring your knee a little higher and you step far away. Remember Mr. Miyagi? Hard training there. Yes. All the way back up and standing all the way back 2 feet straight underneath your hips. Lifting and going to it. Lifting and going down. Yes, good. So if you're with me on some movement there, it is called open the door and close the door, but you can also just imagine stepping over the white picket fence because that makes it functional, right? We want to step over something sometimes, and we don't want to be afraid to fall when we go over something sometimes. So we really have to lift our feet up, and for a minute, just transfer our weight from one leg to another. So that one is really important, really impossible, really important for us to do. Another exercise that I like to do with you always is for strength and balance and posture. So all three there is bending the knee, both straight over the toes, and then just kind of lifting the heel up a little bit without falling forward. That is again the cup of coffee right here on my head. And I want to do 10 little heel lifts right there. Whoop. Right, you're holding on. Whoop. I'm just kind of posing and smiling gently at you, right? Whoop. And I want to really do that to train my balance. So slide little heel lifts and slide over the white picket fence. It's in your handout. So that way you can remember what we did. Stepping out. Now back to functional movement and the basic movement patterns. What are we doing here? We're stepping out into a squat or a lunge and back to the squat, right? Bending our knees is very important for strengthening the upper legs, which will again then prevent pain from hitting into your knees. So if you're having knee pain, strengthen the upper legs, right? Because that will help your knees. And definitely posture correction, having the knees over the toes, right? So stepping in. If you want to, you can also do that, of course, just 5 or 10 times to one side and really try to make it a little bit longer, holding that balance and falling away. So when we're talking about those basic movement patterns, you get that even when you are leaning in to get something or leaning in to pick up something, right? And if you are really advanced or you want to just take it a notch up, then you're going forward and back as well, right? So you're stepping out and you step back in and you change, you go to something and you step back all the way into that balance. Not so good for me. To it, back. Even when we're walking or when you're taking a good stroll, right? I was going to say hiking in the mountains, but not so much right now. Beautiful time of the year, though, to do so. But if we're walking and we're taking a good stroll, if you want to add on to that upper leg strength, then you do that while you're walking. I'm walking, I'm taking a good stroll, and I'm going to add on a little step out and a little step out. I can just do that wherever I am, or even do a walking lunge, right? Step forward, close, step forward, close. I can do that more with you next time because we also need to leave some time for questions. But let me see if I went through everything. So breathing, mobility, flexibility, even with the arms up, feeling the shoulder movement, feeling sometimes if you want to, right, make a little stretch sideways, always keeping really straight alongside the wall. That's so important for our posture. Remember, really moving through the spine here into that spinal wave. And you have started your morning already with some breathing exercises and some tapping. This is really important, that spinal control, that spinal movement, that flexibility. This is so important just to add on. And some of those are basic Kegel movements. And we'll do a lot more over the year of all these Kegel movements because they are just the basic exercises of generating that wonderful calm, generating that wonderful energy. So at the same time, I feel invigorated. I can feel it. I have that energy that I need today. I really need it. And I also feel a little bit more flexible, right? I need to be able to move your body. So if you do that while you're sitting down and you want to work on that strength for your upper legs, because eventually you want to balance and hold on. If you are sitting down in your chair, you can easily do that by improving your posture, and you're going to just lift one leg up and bring it back down, and then lift the other leg up, because that is such an important exercise. It strengthens your upper legs, but it also kind of really works on your posture, because it's very difficult when you lift your leg up to not roll back. You feel that? I'm going to show that from an angle for you. So I'm sitting here straight up, and I want to have that good posture, right? Nice and not arching, but nice and straight back. Feet underneath my knees. Now I want to lift one leg up. Now what my body wants to do is roll back. But what I'm trying to do is keep that posture. I don't want to lean back and sit back. I want to keep that posture. So it's really difficult with that straight back and that 90-degree hip here, right? I have a 90-degree hip here. To make that less than 90 degrees, just take it up a little bit and bring it like in. Now you feel that strength of the quadriceps immediately. If you do that a couple of times a day, that will definitely improve not just your posture and not just your lower back while you're sitting, because you're taking a little bit of pressure off the spine, but you also improve in strength, in core strength, and upper leg is part of that. So you really feel that upper leg. I want to leave a couple of minutes for questions or for open forum, just relaxing and chilling and having our chi for a little bit. This is what I wanted to share with you. Let me think if there was anything else. There's so much to add on to it. I can go for hours, you know that. But I love to be with you and keep it right here so that we have some things to remember and to live by.
Yeah. I mean, this is always amazing. Does anyone have any questions that came up for them? Eileen, go ahead. Hang on one second.
Do you usually exercise in bare feet rather than wear sneakers?
Yes, ma'am. Great question. I always do bare feet because, well, it is kind of like an outside thing when originally Tai Chi and Qigong started. So people would go outside and you can basically do the steps and the exercises in any shoe wear possible, right? I mean, I remember being so fortunate being in China a couple of years ago and seeing a lot of Qigong and Tai Chi outside with the large groups of people and whatever you want to wear. But to really get a good grip on your balance, it's better to work barefoot and to make sure that your feet are just not rolling in, right? So you got your arch up and you're really kind of standing on your 5 toes, going to the outside of the lateral side of the foot into the heel. So really to be aware of what you're feeling, it's the best to wear to work barefoot. Yeah. So if you're outside, of course, you got a little, don't do it on flip-flops. Flip-flops, right? So bad for your feet. But we call that the Texas holy shoe, right? The flip-flop. But yes, great question. If you can, try to be aware on barefoot. And also another thing is of wearing sneakers mainly and the same shoes all the time is that it takes a lot of your foot strength, foot functions away. Almost more than 80% of your foot functions and mobility will be taken away if you always, it becomes a lazy foot, right? And our feet work really hard with all the 27, 28 metatarsalia in there, all work really hard to really feel that surface. Yes. So if you're, for instance, walking on the beach barefoot, great for your feet, great exercise. Did I answer your question?
Yes, but I have another question. What's the relationship between this Qi Gong and Tai Chi?
So Tai Chi is the movement of a certain, it's a form pattern. It looks more like a choreography. In my case, for instance, which I have done with this group many times, is just practice a little bit, 1 or 2 exercises of the entire 24 short form of the Tai Chi practice. So what you see, for instance, what you see large group of people doing in a park, right? And just come all the way back and do all these movements. It looks like a choreography, but it's just a pattern of certain moves, repetitive, 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 repetitive. They're always the same, depending on which dynasty, but they're always the same. It's like Hatha yoga is always the same, and then you got vinyasa flow is always the same when it originated, right? There's a certain movement pattern there. Now, Qigong is just the individual exercise. It is nothing else than manifesting Qi. Qigong means manifesting Qi, energy in your body. So Qi or Qi, depending on China, Japan, wherever we are. So manifesting these exercises can all be done in itself. So if you want to do 3 Qigong exercises in the morning, then you can just do those as many times if you want to repeat them and just feel that energy flow the same way. But if you do a pattern, as if in Tai Chi, then you see this coming back. It's actually the first movement, but only one time, because then the next movement starts. Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have a question, comment, anything that came up for them? You want to ask Elian? Anyone? I don't see anyone. Oh, go ahead, Eileen. Hold on. Wait, you're on mute again. Hold on. If you want to, yeah. Go ahead.
So if you were to go sign up for a Tai Chi class, everybody in that class has been doing the exact same movements in the exact same order for a long time. They're all moving together, like dancing. And then you come into the class and you have no clue what's going on. And so you look like you don't belong. Would that be true of any Tai Chi that you would start?
Is that your experience? Is that your personal experience?
No. I know someone
Okay.
who someone who does Tai Chi, and I was wondering if I should say, could I come to that class? And
yes, you can. So there's 2 answers to that, because it is a repetitive movement, the same all the time, depending on what form they are doing. Sometimes it goes all the way to a Tai Chi class that will practice the 108 movements. But I like to keep it short with 24 movements that are belonging to the Yang style. If you do that, then at some point you'll get it, because it is repetitive. On the other hand, it looks extremely intimidating in the beginning, because it is just right and just left and just right feet and left feet. But it is not like the early aerobic days, I always say, where we go forward to the right, forward to the left, right? Because it is such a coordination of movements that even 2 hands going up and down and then 1 hand or the other way is already really complicated. Let's forget about adding feet to that. So in the beginning, it really is a little bit intimidating. But if you go and you go and you go, you see those movement patterns. I always teach it feet first. Or I teach it arm movements first, and then add the feet, or feet first and then add the arms. So depending also a little bit on the instructor, if they just want to look good, or if they're into explaining it correctly, correct? So that's a lot there. It depends a little bit on somebody being able to explain it to you in a calm and clear way.
Thank you.
Okay, Cindy, go ahead if you want to unmute.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. I have neuropathy in both feet. And so when I lift the right knee, it's okay. When I lift the left knee, there's a tingling sensation. Will that decrease as I keep practicing?
I'm not sure if it decreases, honestly, Cindy, but if you keep practicing, it is absolutely a very, very, very good movement exercise form for neuropathy. I work with
Thank you.
a lot of people that do have that, and just keep those feet working and keep those little the nervous system all the way towards the ends, right? Just keep talking with the end of your toes to your brain. So keep that working. And that's why, yeah, that's why these simple steps and simple movements, I do a lot of. Today we didn't do that, but a lot of, ankle circles. Sorry.
Thank you.
Like just a leg in the feel right there, right? And I do a lot of things like rolling over a tennis ball. I have some other shows that I did about that. And you can find them here on My Health Angel when it comes to pain management, neuropathy, arthritis, these things. Keep rolling over that roller or one of those tennis balls.
Thank you so much.
Activating the foot muscles. Yes, ma'am. I hope that helps.
Thank you. It did.
The pain will never go away.
I know.
All right, we just have to live with it. But
The,
you can definitely push it away a little bit. Yes.
Yeah, Gwen asked, is this exercise good to improve the abs?
All exercises are good to improve your abs. All exercise and all movement and all mobility is as long as you are having the proper correct posture and you kind of pull them in a little bit, right? Do not exaggerate. You don't have to, but activate the core at all times. You can even do that through breathing techniques and just actively inflate and deflate, kind of pulling them in. You can feel that instead of something that we do automatically. But if you're feeling in a natural way that you can inhale, belly out, exhale, really kind of zip it up. In the old days, I would say zip it up because we had pants with zippers. And they were even worse when we came out of the laundry and we had to lay on the bed. That feeling, right?
Mhm.
Pulling with a clothes hanger.
Yep.
So I'm giving my age away here. Really pulling your pants up with that zipper. That zipper feeling is really a good way of activating your core a little bit. Do it anytime, all the time. Anytime, all the time, because a strong core will alleviate a lot of those back problems and posture problems. Yes, thank you for that question.
Great. Okay. Anyone else have any questions for Elian? You really brought me right back for that clothes hanger on the bed with the zipper in the pants. I mean, I can't believe you
I
did
know, right?
Everyone here like remembered that moment, like laying down and literally, I mean, like you were in there. You were not moving. No
You know
stretching.
how
There was no
unhealthy that
stretch.
was.
It was like
You know
Jordan.
how unhealthy that was for us. That was
I
so
know. I can't
unhealthy.
imagine. I mean, think about it. There was no stretch in any.
No stretch.
No, I don't know how we did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely brought us all back there. Thanks for that. Kay asked something about a massage. I'm not sure, Kay, if you want to expand on that question. Massage. Kay, if you want to unmute. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, here.
No, just tell me what how the body reacts, what it needs, the touch, the pressure points.
Yeah, so what we do or say in energy work or Tai Chi work, Qigong, we say that it massages your body and your intestines and your organs. It massages it because you get the free flow of energy and Qi, right? So we are actually really in a healthy way opening up our body for that Qi flow because we're really focused on it. And I talk a lot about that. And I will talk a lot about that in coming shows and also did in the past. That Qi flow is really opening up for our body to be able to breathe. Now, in how far that goes with an external body massage, I'm not a masseuse, so I do not know. I just know that when you're tapping and when you're touching, that brings the Qi to the outskirts of your skin. So you really feel that tingling feeling. I love those dragons in your hair. I love to bring that awareness of the Qi and the awareness of that energy towards your body. It's a little bit of a massage, but compared to external massage therapy, I'm not really sure.